Today we're gonna take this and an angle grinder and we're gonna turn it into this. And you can probably build this with tools you most likely already have. And wait till the end because this lamp's got a little secret. So let's talk about what I picked up at the hardware store. First, we've got a lampshade. This is what, $2? It was super cheap, tiny little lampshade. We're probably gonna have to do some work on the hardware here. Maybe take this out and build our own, but we'll get to that later. Then we've got the fixture, which is just the female end of the light, and then the cord. I don't know, is it called the fixture? Yeah. And then a light bulb. This light bulb is cool, you'll see why. Let's get that aside, and now let's get to work. We're gonna be using a piece of white oak, and this does not have to be white oak, it doesn't even have to be hardwood. You could do this with a 2x4 if you really want to, but we're gonna use white oak because we've got a ton of it. That's a long story we'll get to another time. So the first thing we need to do is make a base. Now John actually got to the shop before I did today, and he started the glue up. He got 2 pieces off this board that were, what, maybe 8-10 inches long, planed them, glued them together, and this is our base. This will be circular in a little bit, but for now, it's a square. All right, so we're taking the white oak to the miter saw, and we're gonna cut it at 18 inches. And since this is about a 9.5-inch wide board, we can't run this through the joiners. So what we're gonna do with this 18-inch long piece of wood is bring it over to the table saw first. We're gonna cut 2 strips off that are 2¼ inches wide. That way, we'll have 2 pieces that are 18 inches long, 2¼ inches wide, and then this is all 5¼ inch thick. Once we've got those 2 pieces, then we'll bring those over to the joiner, we'll joint them, and then we'll plane them, and then we'll glue those together. And that's gonna be the pole of our lamp. Essentially, we're making a 2x2, or a little bit more than a 2x2. And then with the remainder of that wood, we're gonna do the exact same thing, but instead of it being 18 inches long, it's only gonna be 8 inches long. And now you might be wondering, is he using a 3-foot long clamp for this? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. All right, everything's glued up. Let's do a dry run. Lamp. And then the cord will be there-ish, and then lamp. But it'll be under here, and you know, this will be in the wood. I mean, this is not what it's gonna look like. I really hope. So we've got these glued up, and now we need a flat face here and on the bottom. So we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna put this flat face down on the miter saw, and we're just gonna chop a little bit off each side so we have a right angle. And then we're gonna take this over to the joiner, and we're just gonna joint one side. So now that we've got those jointed, planed, squared, what we're gonna do is put a channel in the middle of both of these so that the cord can run through. Basically, just down the middle of both of these, we're basically just gonna route a dado that's wide enough for this cord to recess in there. And we're probably gonna end up doing it about 1 inch deep, probably right there. That way, we can then cap it off afterwards with some smaller pieces of wood. And then, once it's all sealed in, we can go ahead with our angle grinder. And we know that the cord is gonna be deep enough that we're not gonna nick it as we're going around with the angle grinder. So that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. Now, we have a channel that is wide enough for this cord to go through. We're gonna run this cord through here, just pretend it goes all the way through, and then we're gonna put this one up like this. So those gaps meet right there, and then on the underside, this can go all the way through. So we're gonna put a dowel through these. So what we're gonna do is basically the dowel is gonna go right here and right here. So we're gonna get this one started over at the drill press. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna line up the drill press to the middle of both of these 2 sections here, and we're gonna drill all the way through. We've got these holes drilled all the way through 3/8 inches. Now what we're gonna do is line up that channel there to the top of that one. And now what we're gonna do is just clamp this together. And now we've got that clamped up. We've already got that 3/8 inch hole drilled there. So now we're just gonna put this 3/8 inch bit in, and we're gonna go until we cannot anymore. The other side. Oh, what is that sound?
Sounds like it's time for some new bits.
Oh my gosh. Now take that clamp off. Now, what we can do is go ahead, put some glue on this, put some glue on this, put some glue on the dowels, bang those dowels in. But first, now this is important. Before you put these together, the cord needs to be inside. Because if you don't put the cord inside, you're never gonna be able to get the cord inside. And once this is all done, you're never gonna be able to get the cord out. So I hope you don't wanna get it out. All right, those suckers are in. Actually, they just moved a little bit more. Hold on. Okay, now they're in. And now we have this. Yeah, looks good. I would say wipe your glue, but you don't have to because we're gonna use the angle grinder on this, so it doesn't actually matter right now, which is nice. So now our next step is to cut the correct size pieces to fill in these gaps here. So we're gonna take the same board that we used and we're gonna cut one very thin strip off it. Basically, we need the strip to be 5/16 inches thick and then 3/4 inch wide. You can go a little bit wider than 3/4 inch, but I think we're gonna stick with 3/4 inch. When we go all the way in, we'll still have a little bit out. Obviously, I'm not forcing it all in right now, but there'll be a little bit on the outside left over, overlapping, and that's fine because we're just gonna go ahead and take that off with the angle grinder later. We're gonna end up cutting that piece again in half, one at about 6 inches, one at about 19 inches, but that's not a perfect science yet. We'll let you know when we get to it. All right, just to show you what's going on here, we cut this piece at 18 3/4 inches long. That way there's a little bit of extra on the bottom there that we can chop off later. And then for this one, we cut one piece at 4 1/4 because we want this light to be able to hang down a little bit. And then we cut like a little 2-inch piece here that we're gonna hammer in there just like that. Have a little bit of an end cap. That way you won't be able to see the gap there. And this will be supported on each side. So now we're gonna go ahead and get them all glued in. And we're gonna wait a while to put this little cap on there. You'll see why. So we're just cutting the circle on our circle jig here. Basically, it's just a miter sled. We put a nail 3 1/4 inch away from where the blade cuts. And then we're gonna circle this piece around and cut it into a circle on the table saw. Now, we've done this before and we got a lot of comments about how unsafe it is. And yeah, it's probably not the safest way to do this. You could do this with a router, you can do it with a jigsaw, a bandsaw, but this is a way that we use to make a circle quick and perfect. If you're gonna try this yourself, I just recommend keep your hands away from the blade or do this circle a different way. This is just a way we do it. I feel comfortable enough with it, but woodworking, there's risks, always risks. All right, we got most of it off. This is way thicker than we needed. We didn't realize how thick like 2 1/4 inch was. No, this is more than that. But, so we're just gonna plane off most of this stuff on the bottom. That way we don't even have to worry about it. So we're not gonna show you that, but when we come back, it'll be the exact size we want. All right, here it is. And we still have that center mark there, which is perfect because we need that. So now what we're gonna do, we've got a 1 3/8 inch we've got a 1 3/8 inch Forstner bit on here. So we're just gonna line this up, put that directly in that center mark, and we're gonna drill all the way through this piece. That should be a short. That was satisfying. Please subscribe. Sorry, John. John is covered in sawdust now. So why did we do this? Well, we just wanted a donut. And so we could put this cord through there, bring this all the way up. When that's flush, will be there. And there still will be a little bit of room, enough room, to put some dowels in here to connect this to the bottom. Now, if we had a domino, this would be easier, but we don't eat that kind of pizza. But before we do anything with the base, let's go ahead and clean up this pole. Is that it? Is it a pole? What's it called? Post? Post. Obviously post. So for this, we're really not gonna do too much right now. Most of this can be done with the angle grinder. We're gonna chop off those dowels, which will be very easy because I'm good at woodworking.
Wow, you are massacred.
Wow. Well, our goods hand saw is elsewhere and it doesn't really matter because we're gonna be angle grinding it. Did I say this was gonna be easy? Wow. Don't worry, guys. We're gonna angle grind. That looks so bad. It actually looks like I did it on purpose. Like, they're pretty similar. Wow, that is rough. How did that happen? And then we're gonna chop off that little extra piece on the bottom, which I'm now realizing might be harder than I thought because the wire is there. We didn't think this one through, did we, John? You get authenticity here, guys. And we're now just routing a slot on the bottom of the base for our cord. And then the cord goes there. And now that sucker sits flat. Look at that. That's a lantern, lamp thingy, whatever we're making. So this is our dry run. Pretty happy with it. Everything seems to have gone to plan so far, which is impressive. So now what we're gonna do, we decided the best option, I think, is to just glue these together and then screw from the bottom side. We don't really need the dowels because you're never gonna see them from the bottom. So we're just gonna go ahead, put some glue on it, screw it in, and yeah, we're not gonna show you that because you get the point. All right, so here it is. We've got the slot in the bottom. We've got 4 screws in there. This sits perfectly flush to the table. Yeah, there's nothing left to do but angle grind it. So the first thing I did was get a good taper on the bottom. That was kind of the goal from the beginning with the big, thick base. And I grinded the base down pretty thin, and then I worked my way up and kind of made it flow as good as I could up, sort of making it look like a tree trunk, but maybe not quite, but maybe, depends. Beauty's in the art of the beholder, as they say. So, you know, we just kind of went for it. And I'm having fun here. I have a rough sketch in my mind of what I really want it to look like, but at the end of the day, we can't do too much work with the angle grinder because I've got a cord in there. So I know that I can't go more than like 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch deep because I know somewhere in the middle of these pieces of wood, there's a cord. And the second I nick a cord, the project is over. There is no light. And we're not getting this light strand out ever. It's staying there forever. So if it ever ends up breaking or a cat chews it, I don't know why a cat would chew it. I don't have a cat. All right, guys, here it is. Carved, sanded, 60, 120, 220, and 320. I mean, I think it looks great. As I was angle grinding it, I was kind of going for like almost like a driftwood type vibe here, but I think it looks great. And then you've got the channel routed out on the bottom there, so it sits flush. Now, all that's left to do is coat it and then get that light and lamp on it, and we'll be done. All right, it is coated. It looks incredible. Now it's time to see the secret of this project. The secret of this lamp is you can connect it to your phone. I think it's just a light bulb, but it's still cool. Can you change colors or just dim it?
I can just dim it.
Oh.
I didn't get the really nice one.
Oh, I thought we could change colors.
But I can control it from my phone.
Oh, well that's fun. Lamp, one board, pretty cool project. Did a lot of angle grinding, took a long time, but in the end, I think it's totally worth it. This is the type of project that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I'm very happy with the way it came out. I think this thing looks awesome. Yeah, that's gonna do it. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Comment down below any other videos you'd like us to make. I'll see you in the next one. If you like that video, click right here for another one, or click right here for another one.